going to be the facilitator of the meeting on Sunday. The meeting on Sunday, which I'm inviting everybody to, is for us to be present, but for the church to participate. You get what I mean? The church here is reaching out, trying to understand itself better. So I don't want us to dominate the conversation or nothing, or whatever, because you think you know it, and you, in some ways, we lived it. But what we try to do is get the church people to understand how they can be a part of it, and this and that. And we're going to do that through a panel. So far on the panel that I know who it is are people who have read the book. It is Will, Richard McLemore, Tierre, I'm missing somebody. One other somebody that I know. But tonight we're going to mess around with it a little bit. So you should have next to you this right here, which is a set of study questions, and then some chapter summaries, because for those people who haven't read the book, we want to be able to try to summarize some of the chapters so that you can participate in the discussion, and it will trigger something in you. But before I go any further, I just wanted to say to a couple people who are here, who were at Saturday's meeting, who did an excellent job with some very hard truth. We, POP, really, we were the meeting, but for the 10 or 12 other people who weren't us, it was important for them to hear some of what you guys had to say. And I think, y'all did a tremendous job. I was so proud when I left there, man. We was up in that meeting. It's Marvin. So keep, and somehow that's gonna open up a door. I said, somebody gonna step to you and have a place right then and there. You know what I mean? So go to the Acts of Faith right here. We'll start with that. October 23rd, we're nice and small. Hey, brother. Yeah, absolutely.
Chicken's fire.
What's happening? Oh, okay. No, let me get back to you after group go by. Okay. Hey, okay. All right, brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Doug. You figured it out, huh? My man.
I didn't mean to tell you what I did.
Yeah, go tell me. Don't tell me this, man. Don't tell me. Here is somebody who feel like reading real loud.
Money is abundant. Where are you?
Excuse me.
October 23rd. Monday. Money is abundant. Where are you? Reverend Ike. Do you know that you are rich as an individual walking the earth? Do you know that you have the keys to unlock unlimited, inexhaustible wealth? Do you know gold, silver, and piles of warm, loving money is yours right now? If you answer no to any of these questions, you have not developed a prosperity conscience. Prosperity is a state of mind. It goes beyond money or the things money can buy. It requires you to release anger, hurt, and disappointment of yesterday in order to embrace the goodness in your life today. Without fear of the uncertainties of tomorrow, prosperity is freedom, peace, good health, sympathy, and love. Prosperity is knowing who you are, loving it, and doing what you love. When do you think prosperity and
When
act?
you think prosperity.
When you think prosperity and act prosperously, you will contact bountiful wealth. My prosperity begins as a state of
Oh,
mind.
that's so good. Give So, and let's just flush that out. I mean, that's so powerful to me. That's so powerful to me. But I want somebody else to take that and see what was that passage about? What is Reverend Ike talking about there?
He talking about completely not looking back and allowing your past to rob you of your future.
Boy, that was good. Somebody else, Mason.
It basically, it was talking about at least not letting yesterday's mistakes, choices, behaviors affect your time in the present.
And Chris, apply that to yourself. What is it? What is the message for Chris Burke from this reading?
The message
To me
that-
is
the message I got from this is so powerful that it reflects where I'm at as of today, almost 6 o'clock, right on dot, that I am in a way better place because I'm not letting past mistakes or misfortunes affect the goals that I've set as of today.
Man, somebody give Chris some that, man. Chris, that, wow, your clarity right there is amazing. Somebody else jump in.
Man, that's saying, according to my opinion,
That's right.
you can't limit yourself to the possibilities and the vision you allow yourself to have in this life. And also, I guess that's about it.
I got something.
Go ahead.
It says that you
No,
could.
you gotta own it. It says to me
To me, it says that
that
I can reach any goal if I just keep on striving for it.
give my sister a little dab. All right, sis. I'm gonna hold you to that now. Somebody else, let's keep going.
What I got out of it is that yesterday was yesterday, and today, the past is the past. We can't let that, define us.
I can't.
I can't let that define me.
Right.
And live today as today, and then without fear of what's going to happen tomorrow. Live for today, with peace, good health, pay it forward, and simplicity, and show love to everyone.
Wow. That's good, Doug. And so, do you feel like you're following that right now?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I still have, I'm still holding on to the past in ways to forgive myself. But I'm working on it day by day.
That's interesting that you say that because last night at 90 Lakes, Marvin and I were up in 90. We got a strong group up there, about 40 guys. One of the guys is a guy named Lonnie McKinney. Do you remember Lonnie?
Yeah.
The big brother. Lonnie knocked out, 12 years. He's winding down a 12-year bit. And he has a sex offense. And last night when we were sitting there talking, I said, "Man, are you good? Are you all right?" Because he's in treatment. So after treatment, he's on his way to the door. He said, "Papa, I'm good, but I just don't know. I've forgiven everybody else, but I just don't know if I have yet forgiven myself." And I thought that was amazing. And your name came up in that meeting, Doug. And then here you are saying the exact same thing that Lonnie said. let's just take, for 1 minute, what does the word forgiveness mean? I'm not gonna stay on this all night, but I just want somebody to mess with it. What does it mean to be forgiven? What is that?
Turn your cheek and look the other way.
No resentment.
Well, if it's that easy, Doug, then why are you struggling with
I'm not saying it's not easy. It's holding grudges against myself for the things I've done to other people. And I'm trying to get out of the mindset that, all the bad that's been done to me is what I deserve for all the dirt that I've done to others. And so I'm having a hard time with the self-forgiveness. But every day is a new day, and I'm leaning towards it.
Yes, wow. Let me just, I just looked up the word just for a minute. Forgiveness as a noun, that just hit me. Forgiveness as a noun, say a noun.
A noun.
Yeah, noun means the subject. So forgiveness as an adjective would mean you were describing the subject, attaching forgiveness to the subject. But this right here is giving us the definition of forgiveness as its own self. Here's what it says. The action or process of forgiving or being forgiven. The active parts of that definition is action, say action.
Action.
And process, say process.
Process.
So if we are to understand forgiveness as its own thing, then we have to also understand that forgiveness is a process. Thank you, sir. Somebody say it louder than that.
Process.
Yeah, that forgiveness is a process, and that it may not come right then, like you push play on Netflix.
A light switch.
You get what I mean? But it doesn't mean that it's not coming towards you. It says further, watch this. Here's their example. She is quick to ask forgiveness when she has overstepped the line. The synonym is pardon, absolution, exoneration, remission, dispensation, indulgence, clemency, mercy. Say mercy.
Mercy.
Well, that dovetails into our subject tonight. Mercy. More reprieve or amnesty. We beg your forgiveness. And so, as I hear you talking about it tonight, this is what I feel, Doug. I could be wrong, but tell me though, is that you are loving and able to give forgiveness to others who have harmed you. Is that right?
Correct.
But for some reason, you are unable to give yourself the same pass.
Correct.
And why? Hey, Woody, that's what it was right there. My man. What is the problem? Why do you feel that?
I feel that things that have been done to me, for whatever reason they might be, that the person that did the wrong to me,
Is it one person?
no, lots of people,
Okay.
and there could be many reasons and ulterior motives for what has been done.
Right.
But I know the dirt that I've done to others,
Yes.
and the reasons and the causes, and so I take that real deep for me to focus on what I've done and why I've done them things.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm staying on this too long, but so you did some stuff and they did some stuff. And you kind of seeing that as some wash and even Steven type stuff. You didn't deserve this, but you did do this, and therefore you got yours.
Karma.
Anybody got a comment to that?
Karma's not real.
Yeah, it is.
I have.
Comment is real. Prime example. I experienced a particular individual had an episode where something happened to them. This gentleman had told him to knock his TV off some particular person's shelf. Just on the TV, put this out, and he was in the front room and he heard something, boom! I came in the back room and realized the TV had hit the floor. And he said, I wonder why that happened. I said, you thought about the action that you just displayed? You knocked out somebody else's TVs and it came back on you. I said, that's a prime example that karma exists.
Come on in.
You can understand it.
That's good.
I said, that's true. It happened.
Old people say what comes around goes around. That, you know, that's kind of what Doug is saying. But what I guess I'm struggling with and why I'm staying on this so long, Doug, is because sometimes those things, those issues unresolved, they start to eat away at you, and they make you, they open you up to use. I don't hear nobody in this church. They open you up to use, and I don't want you to be victimized by your yesterday. This is what Reverend Knight was saying right here in this passage. This is what I hear him saying. We're going to move on in a minute, unless somebody else has a burning thought. He says this, and I love this part better than anything. Prosperity, say prosperity.
Prosperity.
Think about that word, prosperity. Just think about it. Prosperity, he's saying, is not money. Prosperity, he's saying, is a state of mind. Do you have a prosperous state of mind? Can you answer that question? Just think about it. Just think about it. Watch this. It goes beyond money. Money's going to come and go. But prosperity, he's saying, is a consciousness that requires you to release, say release.
Release.
Anger, say anger.
Anger.
Hurt. Disappointment.
Disappointment.
Ooh, that's good. But let's just stop at those three adjectives. What are you so angry about that it stops up your prosperity state of mind? Well, I swear. I mean, I probably need to be teaching some other place because that was real good right there.
Right?
Go ahead.
I can't believe it. It's like, you know when you go to church and the pastor get to talking and he'll share a subject and it relates exactly to what you're going through.
Absolutely.
I just experienced a particular episode and I'm like, why are you angry? The individual had an episode where they're angry.
Right.
And I said, you know what? You're killing your prosperity. You wonder why your life is at a standstill. And I'm continuously prospering. So each day I go to work. Each day I'm taking domains of this job.
Right.
I'm literally running everything. They better throw it in the 18
So
book.
they gave you the job now?
Yeah, no. I take the physical at the end of this month. I was going to let y'all know that.
All right.
And me passing UA, 100% chance
Yes, sir.
of that.
Okay.
So the 1st of November, next group after November, I'll be coming in letting you all know that I'm a affirmative, I'm a metal technician is what they
That's good.
say I am.
That's good.
And
I see you on Facebook with the boss or something like that.
now that was the guy that actually was the founder of the conveyor that I run, the can conveyor that I run. You say he built that machine 40 years ago.
Wow.
So I said, oh, we got to take a picture. I touch this machine every day.
Right, well, he got a prosperous state of mind, I think. But what we got to do is make sure we get ours, you know, because look what excuse me, isn't it true that sometimes we have these little issues? We need housing, we need a bus car, we need transportation, we need these things. And it has the ability, those things, they seem small or they seem big at the time, but they have the ability to steal away your prosperous state of mind. Come on, what do you got? You got all kind of chairs over here?
I'm good. I'm a young man.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Hey, Trav, what's up? You good? So I just want us to think about that. I think for me, personally, if I personally, I stayed in the street for many years. And others might have said I was prosperous, but I was never content. I never felt like I had peace. And until I got over my anger and that hurt and that disappointment, I couldn't find my way out of my little trap. When I did though, then my life started to change. So see, people, you can't tell me you can't make this thing happen. You can't tell it to me. Because, so I was way out as far as you could go. And where people say, Shane ain't never coming back. That boy's out there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But the devil is a lie. I'm just trying to tell you. Now they couldn't see who I was. They only saw what I was acting like right then, which was pretty notorious. You know, it was dastardly, really.
Right.
I'm just saying this to myself because I'm not ashamed to say it, but I'm really talking about you. Look what you had to get over. Think what you had to get over to get where you are now. And once you got over that, money became secondary to this state of mind that you have found for yourself. And that's good. I don't hear nobody never ever. You're gonna have to take a seat because this right here tonight, we got this Just Mercy stuff and all of this, man. Yeah, come on, man.
You gotta take
Yeah, you make me feel nervous with it, you know. Tonight I want to introduce, we have a guest over here. His name is Luke, and I want to explain to you how we met Luke, and then Luke can talk about himself for a bit. Luke is one of the carriers out there with us at the Star Tribune, you know, where we do the papers.
Okay.
And we met Luke and his sister. Luke is a writer. Yeah, and he's a writer, but he's doing the contracting to do the route while he's waiting for his ship to come in on the writing tip. I don't hear nobody. And so I've taken Luke and asked him to write an article about Power People and our work we're doing out at the Star Tribune Depot. And so that's one of the reasons why he's here. But Luke, introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you want to say.
All right. Well, my name's Luke. Nice to meet y'all.
All right, Luke.
So we've been carrying newspapers over at the Star Tribune since February. Me and my sister Susan, she just turned 16, 15 at the time. And you talk about prosperity consciousness, and that was one of the things that we kind of started doing that for.
Right.
Was to make a little extra money. She's young. I want to teach her the value of having a job, and that's not an easy thing to do, go on papers. So to earn that money, she's going to spend that money like she has a phone and all that stuff. So she's taking care of herself. But coming from our background, parents splitting up, there's 7 of us. Right. I'm the first boy in the family and the third kid. I'm 28 now. I got 2 older sisters that's they kind of up and left. My parents split. Right. Things get kind of hard. So I've always been kind of taking care of myself and taking care of my younger siblings. And so one of the things I had to kind of get over in life was just stop seeing myself as a victim. Right. Money might be short, you got bills to pay and all that stuff, but it's it's too easy to look back and be like, my parents, they didn't do me right, and life is so hard because of them. But it's it's your life, And that's what I looked back at. I was just like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So like you said, as I'm waiting for my ship to come in with the writing, I'm a fiction writer. So that could happen whenever, it might never happen. But at the end of the day too, it's just I'm just blessed. I can be in so many other different places, doing so many other things. It's just my life is good right now. But it takes a moment in time where you have to sit there and you're analyzing yourself. You really got to look at yourself. You know what I mean? Even just the other day, I'm fixing my car. I'm having trouble fixing it. I'm doing some things that I'm not really even qualified to do. Right? I'm having trouble. I'm on the same part forever, and I'm sitting there my stupid dad, he left, and I don't got no money to fix this thing or whatever. Just I could have such a nice ride right now, and it's just all these victim thoughts, and I was just but you know what, this is a pretty nice car on its own right. It's a ride. It got me here tonight. I fixed it. I am blessed.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. I'm here tonight just observing how this goes down, and I'm just blessed to be here among you guys. So I'm just gonna do what I do, be quiet, be humble.
Give him some love. Glad to have you. And Norma just popped in, Woody popped in with some information. We're gonna get them in quick because we're probably gonna move on and stick to the book here coming up pretty quick. This is Miss Norma, Norma, what's your last name?
Miller.
Norma Miller, and she's a good friend. We have a lot of respect for Norma and her work. She was a union painter for many years and just recently, I think, retired from that. And she was responsible for getting, that's right, give it up. She was responsible for getting Adrian Mack onto his roofing job. Right now, and Adrian was doing papers with us until he finally got a hold of something, you know. And so she has something else she want to share with us, so give her your
I'm not going to take much of the time, but Public Works, which is the city of Minneapolis, was at the Urban League last night from 5 to 7, and they did a presentation. So they looking to fill 50 positions. These positions will be available on 2019, spring of 2019, but you have until the end of October to fill out your application. You can go online and fill it out and just put down Minneapolis Urban League. If you have your CDLs, they're looking for people with their CDLs. If you just have a valid driver's license, you can still get in. They have like 6 positions that are open, but they need 50 people to fill all of them. And so I'm just bringing this to everybody. They also have other locations where they're going to be doing presentations for the rest of the week. If anybody wanted to just go and hear what they had to say. They also have their human resource person also came out with them. So then you can ask them questions. So one thing I asked them was about the background check. And they said the only thing that really stops a person is if they're still on probation. Wow. Other than that, you know, and then he interviews everybody one by one and see where you're at with the felony or whatever. But he says that's really the only thing that holds them back from hiring a person. And then he also said he doesn't look at resumes. So when you fill out the application, if you have experience with any of these things here, then they just want you to write on your application what your experience with this. Because he said he doesn't look at your resumes at all. So whatever you do, huh?
What are you doing?
There's several. I'm gonna pass it around here. I can start passing it around. Yeah. So if you can do any of those, when you fill out your application, put down everything that you can do pertaining to that job or the jobs. On the back is some information as well. They do an agility, so you have to be able to pass their agility test. So the way that they explained it, so on the back, oh yeah, these are yours too. So you can pass all this around, because all this has to do with the city of Minneapolis, and I think this time I made enough copies. And so, but I really enjoyed it. It was from 5 to 7, and they go from point A all the way to point Z. Go ahead, who had a question?
My question is, you said the probation thing, is that parole included?
Yeah, that's the same, yeah.
Okay. That's all I was just making sure.
Yeah, but there's other jobs out there. The Urban League, we have a lot of connections with different employers that hire people, doesn't matter if you have a felony or not on probation. I just got someone else a job at EA Sween, they start next week. Another place that who has a CDL license here? Anybody? Okay, good. So MnDOT is looking for people with their CDL. I just got a couple of people hired on there because I have partnerships with a lot of different agencies. So they come to us looking for
What about forklift drivers? I got certified through OSHA.
Oh, did you?
Through my
Okay.
job.
Yep, there's a lot of people that are looking for forklift drivers. So, yeah, there's a lot. So you know where the Urban League is at over there? Yep, just come through. We'll get you hooked up. And so with MnDOT, I'm just passing these out, even though the open house is over with. I'm just giving it to you all so that you can have they're taking applications all the way up to January 7th. And their website is on there, so that's why I'm giving you that. Even though the open house is over with, you still have until January 7th to apply.
Okay.
And then, these are the technician jobs. These are the jobs that are available for MnDOT, and it also has how much your rate would be.
Any demolition?
Oh, well, MnDOT, you know, they do their own,
Let's see what-
yeah.
Here you go. This,
And then with the construction, we have construction that's coming up, pre-apprenticeship programs with the cement mason and the tile and bricklayer. So if anybody's interested in that, I'll bring that back once that starts up. But I know the cement mason guy said that they'll be starting up in like February or March. And from there, they help you get a job. They refer you out to a job. Okay?
and, we got one union cement layer in here.
Oh, okay.
What did you have to, you doing it too?
I do some.
Wow. What did you have to do to get in that union?
I just started working for a company that was
A union company?
Yeah, contractor.
I know that PCL is doing a big job out in Bloomington. They're hiring like crazy. They got work for like the next 3 years at the parking ramp by the airport.
For cement mason? What's the name of the company?
PCL.
Oh, okay.
You know that?
Yeah. So, okay, and then.
Well, that's all right, that's all
Okay. Okay, so the last time I was here, I talked about the Urban Tech program. So the Urban Tech program now has a new program that they've added. It's called P2P, Pathways to Prosperity. It's an IT training program, and you don't have to, it don't matter if you have a felony, it don't matter if you have a GED or anything, but you can get this free training through the Urban. Pathways to Prosperity. Okay, so here's these
Let me
flyers.
see. Let me see the pathway. Huh?
That was promise land.
Pathway here.
Some of them. Some of them. There's so much here.
So there's a lot of job opportunities here in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. So it's just, if a person wants to work, so. And we have a lot if we can't help you, then I also work with other agencies. I can just refer you out to agencies, like the ones that want their CDL.
Right.
I got a place you could go to and get your free CDL.
Wow.
Ray Richardson. He's doing it over at the YSA Park.
Right?
On the weekends?
Hey.
No, it's Monday through Friday. Sorry.
Give
Yeah.
Norma some love and that was a lot of information.
So I'll just keep coming back from time to time.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're welcome. And then Norma, Norma don't forget about us. Some things come up over at the Urban League or this or that, and she remembers us, and I appreciate. Can y'all give her another hand for just thinking about us?
Take one leaf.
All right, yes,
One
sir.
leaf. Take one leaf.
Look, if anybody's interested, or you got, Will, I was thinking about Marlo here and how to get him back in one of these things, this or that, or if you got somebody, that needs a shot, this is a lot of information here. MnDOT does hire guys with felonies. And you got your CDLs too. That's a spot. Go ahead. Okay. And so, we got a couple of guys already, driving for them.
That's good.
So does anybody have any question for Norma before we move on?
Yeah, I'd like to get the information from the CDL.
So the information for the CDL thing, you gotta get with
Yeah, you
her.
have to, because I'm over at the Urban League, so you can just come over there, because I have to fill everything out.
So where just give her one of your papers and write her number down so she can.
I can give you my phone number, 612. Anybody got it? Oh, yeah. 612
Will, can you write on the board there, son?
302 3102. Norma Miller.
That's your
Work
direct
number.
number? 612-302.
3102.
Yes.
You guys can extra copies down there, Pop?
I'll need one more copy of everything. You got it?
Urban League.
Yes.
Woody, and so Woody got something going on. We want to give Woody a minute. Give Woody a big hand. We love him. Woody and I, of course, we do Rush City together. Rush City starts tomorrow. I'm bringing that up for a lot of reasons. One is because Rush City, in our class there, we had 100 people sign up for the class. What's important about that is that all of these prisons are on edge. I'm gonna give you a little quick report about it. But when you got 100 people signing up for a class that is taken very seriously, and we probably have, say, 15 lifers. 15 lifers in this class, and all of the lifers have been a part of the student-teacher corps for a long time. So the lifers really run what's going on in Rush City. So as some of these prisons have been close to exploding because of some of the issues that have happened just in a short while, the Rush City lifer population is helping to keep that prison moving forward. And that's a hard job. You don't hear what I'm saying. Because you have some of the guards who are on edge and believe they're threatened. They always believe it, but now they really believe it, and somebody has actually lost their life. And then we have the offenders who want to go home, and it's making it bad for everybody else, and that issue has made it really bad for all of the lifers who have yet to see a parole hearing. Wow. You get it? And now they're going back under a new administration, this and that. So it's a big thing. I'll say more about that, but let's give Woody some time to, Woodrow some time to talk about what's happening at Turning Point. Give him another hand.
Hey, thanks. Pathway to prosperity, that's good stuff. We were just talking about prosperity, so it's a spiritual thing. But, you know, every year Turning Point does the alumni celebration. If you're affiliated, if you know me, you can come. That's
Right.
That's how I feel. So I always want my Pop brothers to, anytime Turning Point does something, anytime Pop does, we try to support one another. We try to be consistent with that piece.
That's right.
Because like Shane said, we got guys that need to come to Turning Point. We open up the door right away.
Right.
For the Pop guys.
That's right.
We understand it. So we have an alumni celebration. All y'all are welcome to start tomorrow at 6. Unfortunately, Shane, I won't be on.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm the MC tomorrow.
Go ahead.
So that's why I sent it to you to let you know there's something else going on.
Okay.
So we'll start up, but next week I'm down with you.
Okay.
And so it's over at the right off of over on Glenwood there, right? The Health Corey McCovey Health and Wellness Center. It's a Y/.
Senior
Citizen building. Yeah. So it's right off of Glenwood there by the International Market Square. It's tomorrow at 6. Just come. They have plenty of food, program, the whole nine, so it should be fun. So I'm gonna leave the flyers here, and that's what that's about.
And anybody that's got time tomorrow, I want you to please support Woodrow, because Woody is in Turning Point of always, you guys know, we've had guys who need to go to treatment tonight, and we have taken them from the meeting to treatment and got them in immediately. That's a powerful service and a powerful partnership. We need to support that. So if you can make it up there, I won't make it because of the class tomorrow in Rush City. We're prime where you are not. But give us some love. Okay, man, we got a lot going on.
Yeah, we do. We got a long distance call from a prison. We're gonna just put him through. I can't quite remember who it is, but I don't wanna just shoot him down.
Brian?
Hello?
Hold on for 1 sec.
Hello?
Hold on.
All right.
How you feel, man? You looking good, man.
All right,
Come on, what was that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, Franco! Oh, man.
We have you on the group photos. Hold on for 1 second.
Yes, hey, this is Franco. Give him a big hand. He just got out. Trevor, you see that stuff? Okay, go ahead with Brian.
Longer.
That's all it is.
This used to be over there. Brian? Okay. I'm gonna have to hold it.
All right, hey man, this is Pop. What's going on?
How you doing, Shane? This is Brandon Cox.
Yeah, man. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. You remember who you talking to?
Yeah, Brandon, the kind of light-skinned boy about my complexion. Yeah, you thought I forgot you. You yellow Negro. Hey, this. Hey, give him.
Wait. I know when I left, you told me to get in contact with these people down here and try and get you down here, but. Man, it's a task. They like, oh, they not a religious-based group, so we can't get them here.
Right. Hey, I claim the Holy Ghost. That's all right.
I took this Christian fellowship class, and the guy that runs it is from Minnesota. I don't know what they call it up there, but I was taking it, and I kept trying to get you to come through them.
Right.
But I don't think he wanted you to come and outshine his program.
Right. Let's give him a pop guy on 3. 1, 2, 3. Pop guy. Louder than that. 1, 2, 3. Pop guy. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Pop guy. I just want you to know you calling into a mighty group of men, brother. And so we glad to hear from you. And so the spirit that you still operating under, I don't want you to feel like that operation is false. That's a true feeling, and that operation is authentic. And you just heard the authentic voices of Pop Guys right here taking care of business. Give them some love real fast. Yeah. Well, listen to what I'm gonna tell you. When we stop talking, I want you to talk back to Wayne and give Wayne all your information so that we can contact you. But now, if I remember correctly, you was going back down there to be closer to your mama.
Exactly.
And so is your mom all right?
My mom's doing well. She's blessed, and I got 6 kids, 7 kids now because I just got married. But everybody's doing all right, and I was really reaching out to you because my mom just found these articles from about the commissioner up there and saying that he's trying to look at these guys that got these 30-year life sentences, and he's trying to take a look at them after 17 years. So I was trying to reach out to you and see if you had any know-how or knowledge of anything about this whole situation with the commissioner.
Yeah, wow, what interestingly enough, save them articles right there, because sometimes, Brandon, what happens is information about what's going on in Minnesota will get released to some other state and we don't see it. I will tell you this, that there was some thinking on the part of the current commissioner who is outgoing. He'll be gone at December 31st.
Yeah.
So there was some thinking about taking a different look at that, except for one of the brothers who I think took a guard's life up here, and that has changed our dynamic quite a bit.
Changed everything.
Yeah.
So it's the first homicide by a guard in the history of the Minnesota State Correctional Facility, which is over 100 years old. And even though it's that old, and they've only had one homicide, the powers that be are trying to shut down a lot of things.
Right. Yeah, she sent me some articles about a petition where they're trying to get rid of it too. So that I was feeling I was on my high, and then when I read that, I'm like, oh, it might not be all that good.
Right. Yeah, but so are you now being governed by the state of Nebraska, or are you being yet governed by the state of Minnesota?
I'm still being governed by Minnesota, but I'm just being housed down here.
Right. And and Brandon, now how many you got in now?
I got 13 in. I'll be 13 in February.
All right. Yeah, give him some love, y'all. Give him some love. The the reason why that deserves a round of applause is because I can tell you still got your right mind. You still wrapped in your right mind, and you haven't allowed the vicissitudes of the penitentiary to run you crazy. And you haven't let all the issues and all the ups and downs and all the people, all the subtractors and all the dividers, you haven't let them run you crazy. I can tell you talking with your right mind, and that deserves a big round of applause after 13 years. And furthermore, you don't get to go crazy. You don't get to be out your mind. You don't get to do nothing but stay true to who you really supposed to be.
That's right.
That's right. Got that right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? I was just talking to one of my homeboys yesterday, and I was telling him, I said, man, I never taken anything in my life that affected me in such a way to when I got to speaking to my family, it was just breaking them down in tears. I'm like, every week I was yearning for this Wednesday to where I could go holler at Shane and hear what he got to say, and I'm like, the words that's coming out of his mouth was just always the right words, and they just touch you in this way that you just, it was an unbelievable feeling.
Wow.
And just hearing you and talking to you, bringing me back to that, it's just making me emotional.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with being emotional because, I miss you too. And then, I ain't scared of that. I was up there for you in the first place, and that's why you calling me, because we had connected, we had yoked up. This is how it is with us, man. We brothers in this thing, man. You know what I mean? And I'm up here trying to help you find a way to maintain the integrity of your situation and of your mind while you do this bit and get it done. I'm sitting here right now, bro. I got, 4 lifers are sitting here right now, 5. And, who done did that bit. And they out here now, they all working, they all got their owning homes and they driving pretty. All of that stuff is still available to you. You ain't got to be thinking like it's over. You just got to be figuring out how to make your walk the best possible walk it can be while you're there.
That's right.
Yeah, read everything, study everything. Any class they take it. You don't have to talk, but just listen. Become a sponge, and after a time, it will be your season. And when your season comes, the door will open. Because the rules are only made for rule breakers. If you stop breaking rules, then you'll find out that a help will come out of nowhere and find a way to open the door. I'm just telling you the truth.
I'm glad to hear that. Hearing that they done went through it and they done did that time and they out there
we done did it.
inspiring, it's motivation, you know what I'm saying?
Who you got right this
It's true motivation to just keep going and keep pushing and not let these, these peoples in this as what you call it, this geographical location,
That's right.
and define who I am.
Yeah, that's good. That boy got a lesson. That's good.
And I know they doing good because they got you beside them.
Yeah, well, I'm doing my best, and now I got help, man, because see, we have a motto, and this is the motto: we are the help that we have been waiting for. Nobody else is coming, and there's some guys in this room that really believe that. So we stick together on a lot of things. Just Saturday, man, we showed up at a meeting to reduce or discontinue technical violations. The meeting probably had 50 people in it, but 15 or 20 of them was pop guys.
That's right.
So we beginning to impose our will in a good way on the political affairs of the state and the things that are going on around us, man.
Right.
Yeah. So listen, I'm gonna let you go for now, but I want you to stay on the line because Wayne gonna get all your information. Then I'm gonna send you some fresh books and some more stuff so that you can keep it being encouraged.
I appreciate it.
Pop guy on 3, 1, 2, 3. Pop guy. Yeah, give him some love. Give him some. Hey, come on in, man. Sit down. Yeah, you find a seat over there. I ain't gonna bite you. You know I got something for you though. Yeah. But watch there. Watch this. Brother Munches right here, Franco, Senior, is just got home from Lionel Lakes, an excellent student, a real pop guy, and a student teacher extraordinaire. Give Franco a big welcome home right here. I was uncertain if you were coming tonight, so I didn't bring have a cake, but usually when we have you guys come home, we have ice cream and cake. We don't have no cake tonight, but we got some ice cream. We can eat up the ice cream on the street. Anybody want ice cream? Here we go. So, Franco, we're gonna throw to you for a minute just to talk about how you doing. You know, what's going on. Just give us the update.
And I'm blessed. I've been able to come out and adjust pretty quickly. My dad, who I hadn't been in talk to for a long time, but at the end of my bid, I got in contact with him and sorted some things out. Our relationship is working now because he's able to take responsibility for his old stuff, you know, and so that makes it more, you know, of a reciprocating relationship there now. And so, you know, one thing led to the other, whatever. By the time I got out, he had a pickup truck waiting for him.
Yeah, man.
Old 97 F-150.
Yeah.
Hard buzz.
You know, it's been getting me to everywhere I gotta go. I've been taking care of my business, medical insurance. I've been with the Ramsey County Center down there, you know, with some EMT going, gotta wait for a car, you know, filled out 2 applications. Got 2 good leads on it, 2 people who will put me in for referrals, so, you know, before you know it, it's not working.
Yeah, we just had a ton of employment information just come through by Miss Norma here from the Urban League, and so passed him that. And yeah, Franco, we was just there, Marvin and I, last night, and man, that class from the class you were in, Doug was there too.
Yes, he was.
Trav was there too. Watch this. From what y'all did though, just opening it up, right? The first class we had, going back to Lino just 2 weeks ago, about 40 deep. And in the first class, it was the most powerful first class I've ever been associated with in my 15 years of doing it. And so, I mean, liberation was just breaking out because you guys were being so honest. You created a habit, a number 6, and these guys that coming in there just dropping it. Man, it was amazing. So we are excited about the foundation that you all laid, and men are being restored, right? Getting free inside of prison. You can't wait till you come home. You have to get free inside to remain free out here, right? Franco, we got a lot of information. I'm so glad to see you. I love you. I appreciate you. You said you was gonna be right on point, and you know you're a man of your word. Got your 150, you have to show it to me. What color?
It's like that teal green.
Oh, okay. He went teal green. Here come Gaddafi just coming in the door. Give him a hand. He's so lit. I want to give Baba some because last Saturday at this meeting of reducing or eliminating technical violations, there was a couple of pop guys that had the floor. Both of them are in this room right now. And brother, you did such a good job of making that meeting real. It didn't get real till you got up. And when you got up, it got real for everybody. And matter of fact, it choked Vava up. And I looked around the room, all the pop guys start squirming in their seat. You know, because we already know. So when he started going there, we like, you know that little thing comes on you. It's like, yeah. And I'm gonna just tell you something. I want to show you something. This is love, though. Nothing mean spirit about this. But we were the dominant force. Say dominant. Dominant. Say loving. Loving. Yeah, you can be a loving force and be dominant. Right. We were the dominant loving force in that room. And you, brother, when you broke it off, then you came back, finished it.
Wow.
Your wife jumped up.
Yeah, no,
she dropped
the mic.
I'm like, look.
I couldn't go. She said she was going.
She represented, man. Give her. And so, I want to also introduce you all to an old friend. He's been messing around with the legal system quite a while now. I kind of remember when him and this guy Hawk first came into, when that you and Hawk first came into the Kennebec County at the same time?
What year was that?
Like maybe 89, 90, 92, 96, 96, 97?
No, I came in like 2000.
2000. It's still, but I seen him around, and I was working for Hennepin at the time, and we turns out that we now attending church together out at New Hope Church. New Hope is on the 42nd Street and 169, just before you get to 169 West, right? Yeah, going out there. And on this Sunday, this Sunday from 5 to 7. The church is hosting a forum. You already know this, but I'm just reviewing. The church is hosting a forum on the book Just Mercy. This is the book Just Mercy. I done handed out maybe 15 books. A handful have read the book, and that handful will be a part of the panel. The church is pressing in on how can they be a part of changing the paradigm. Now, I don't go to church talking about what I do. I never mentioned one time. But I got called into a committee by Miss, what's the little sister's name? Huh? Cassie. You Cassie, who's been here? And so she's so busy. Brother Shane, come on over. We want to talk, And just her heart was so good. She's been up in Rush City with me. And she kind of wrestled all us into this thing. So now Sad is on the committee too, and I'm on the committee. My wife's on the committee. This mass incarceration committee. So on this Sunday, listen to me carefully. On this Sunday, we're gonna have this forum. The forum is not for us. We're going to be present. Say present.
Present.
Yeah, but it's really for the church members who are wrestling with their own identity, and it's a good wrestle. Get it? They are going to. We want them to be the ones to ask some questions and learn some stuff. If you get so moved, we ain't muzzled or nothing, but I want us to allow the flow to be amongst them more so than us, because we can go all day about it, right? But it's this Sunday. Wayne is in here now. Do you have the address?
5 to 7. I have it.
Okay, we're gonna give you the address. We'd like for you to be present 5 to 7 on Sunday. I know the Vikings are playing New Orleans that night, because I got tickets to the game, and then I ain't go. So I'm gonna be at the church.
Patient.
So
Also, right before that, for IWOC.
no. Stop. Don't take me back there. Right now, we just talk about this, and if we have to go back and review that, we'll go back and review that. But we give you the address of the church, and we'd like for you to be present. Will, wait, just put your hand up, Will, so you can see who you are. Will's going to be in the panel. Richard McLemore is on the panel. You finished? Richard McLemore's on the panel. Tierra's on the panel. And so is Oliver Cummings. So that's 4 of us that are going to be on the panel that night. The idea, if you turn to this document, you have this document in front of you. Franco, do you have it? It says Just Mercy chapter summary.
Yeah, he shot one. He got one pop.
Okay, so while you're looking for that Just Mercy chapter summaries, give Cedric a hand for coming over here and visiting us. Right here. Give him a better hand than that.
In case somebody doesn't have it.
Okay, that's the questions. That's the questions. What?
I'll get them.
So here we are. So what we're going to do tonight is quickly show you a video of Brian Stevens, so everybody's familiar with it. Then said, if you had, I'd like you to chime in after the video in some ways. Okay. Just talk about what you see. T, would you move the pen towel right here? The right here. Yeah, just move that. And then everybody who's sitting on the other side of the computer, just slide down. Slide the chair down. Move the chair down. So you can see what it is. Wayne, and you're gonna go ahead and get it started. Y'all just slide down the best you can.
Brian Stevenson, we're at the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books. Your book is Just Mercy.
Hit the light.
Hey, is that the, Brother Shane, is that the video that's gonna show Sunday?
Yeah.
Might be going on.
Yes, sir.
His speaker might have a volume low.
Brian Stevenson, we're at the Los
Excuse me, y'all.
Angeles Times Festival of Books. Your book is Just Mercy, a story of justice and redemption. First of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Delighted to be here. So you are also the executive director of the Equal Justice Initiative, a professor at the New York University School of Law. But if you would, it would be great to hear about how you first began this journey of thinking about justice in America.
Yeah. Well, I actually grew up in a poor rural community where the schools were still segregated when I started my education. So I started my education in the colored schools, and lawyers came into the community and made them open up the public schools for black children. And I didn't appreciate it then, but it kind of planted this idea that lawyers were people who had power to change things, even though I never really thought much about being a lawyer. When I graduated from college with a degree in philosophy, I realized nobody was going to pay me to philosophize. So I started looking around for ways to kind of find meaningful ways to spend time, and ended up in law school, like a lot of people. But I have to say, I really didn't like it. I was there to kind of focus on racial issues and poverty and justice. It didn't sound like anybody was talking about race or poverty and justice. And it was really only in the middle of my law school career that I had an opportunity to take an intern that sent me to the Deep South, where I met people on death row. And these were folks literally dying for legal assistance, condemned people who had no money, who had no lawyers, whose cases really reflected some really troubling truths about the American criminal justice system. I think we have a system that treats you better if you're rich and guilty than if you're poor and innocent.
Look at that point.
It's a system that presumes the guilt of black and brown people. It's a system that's been compromised by politics and that tolerates a lot of unreliability. And the idea that these people were going to be killed when those kinds of questions were so resonant really jarred me. And I immediately knew that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to stand with condemned people who were facing execution in a system I thought was unjust, unfair, and terribly unreliable.
You started at the center of your story, which leads into a lot of conversation, obviously, about justice and racial equality in the United States. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about who he is.
Yeah, so Mr. McMillan was an African-American man in Monroeville, Alabama.
Listen to this
who was
carefully.
accused of committing a murder in the 1980s. It was a terrible crime that took place in downtown Monroeville when a young white woman was murdered at a dry cleaning store, and the police couldn't solve the crime. 6 months later, there was a lot of pressure on them to solve it, and they couldn't. And we believe they targeted Mr. McMillan not because he had a prior crime history, had never been in trouble before, but we believe they targeted him because he was an African-American man having an affair with a young white woman.
Damn.
And even though at the time of the crime he was with his family and about 20 other people raising money for his sister's church 11 miles away, they persisted in prosecuting him for this murder he clearly didn't commit. It was a case filled with ironies. When I met him, it was clear that he was innocent. It was clear that people were just ignoring all of this evidence. But it was also clear that this community was very disconnected. This community, Monroeville, Alabama, is actually where Harper Lee grew up and wrote the very beloved American novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. If you go to Monroeville, you see evidence of that everywhere. They love that story. They put on plays about it each year. All the streets are named after characters. In the book, there's a Blue Raspberry Deli. You can get an Atticus milkshake. I mean, they just love the story. And yet, we're completely indifferent to the plight of this innocent black man facing execution. They put him on death row for 15 months before the trial, almost to create an identity for him that he is super dangerous. The trial lasted a day and a half. The jury convicted him of murder. The judge, whose name was Robert E. Lee Key, overrode the jury's verdict of life and imposed the death penalty in our state. 25% of the people on death row
got life verdicts from juries that our elected judges can override. And then they sent him back to death row. And that really, just all of that, really challenged me when I met him. There was a despair in the poor minority community that was also deeply troubling to me. Because people who witnessed when the crime took place and they knew he was innocent, they felt his conviction in a very
As soon as the lights come on.
so much better if he'd been out in the woods hunting by himself when the crime took place, because at least then we could entertain the possibility that he might be guilty. But because we were there with him, we feel like we've been convicted too. We feel like we've been sentenced to death too. And the hopelessness was tangible. And so working on that case, for me, was not just working to free an innocent man, but it was also working to change a narrative that emerged in that community. That even though we talk about justice, even though we talk about race, and we talk about all these things, we don't do anything that has actually made it any safer for poor and people of color. One of the most compelling elements of that story for me, of the Walter McMillan story, is that you learn about this man, his life, and you actually learn his story. And that requires a level of empathy to understand a person's story, a person's background, a person's history, and take that into consideration when we think about justice.
Yeah.
What do you think in terms of the United States and our sense of empathy and our sense of justice? What's happened in the course of the last century? Yeah, no, I think it's really critical. I don't think you can effectively advocate for people you do not understand. And it's when we get closer to people that we really understand who they are and what their lives are about. And I don't think that our country has done a good job of owning up to the ways in which it has created anguish and pain and suffering and marginality with the kind of thoughtful engagement about the people. Why is that? You know, I think it's because we have developed some really bad habits dating back to the time of slavery. I mean, you know, for me, the great evil of American slavery was not involuntary servitude. It was the narrative of racial difference that we created. We've always wanted to feel good about who we are. We've always wanted to be proud. And we'll deny certain truths if it complicates our feeling of being good or being proud. And, you know, the great difference between America's slavery and the rest of the world, most countries had slavery during a period of their history, but they were mostly societies with slaves. We became a slave society. We wanted slave owners to feel good about the fact that they were owning other human beings. So we created this narrative that black people were different, not fully human, not as smart as, not as hardworking as. And that narrative of racial difference, that ideology of white supremacy, was to me the great evil of American slavery. And we did it so that people could feel Christian and moral and just, even while they owned other human beings. But it's why I don't believe that slavery ended in 1865. I think it just evolved. And we've never confronted that narrative. And so we had decades of lynching and terrorism. We had segregation. And even the civil rights movement has become too celebratory. We don't talk about the resistance. And that's left us vulnerable to cases like Walter McMillan, where we presume the dangerousness and guilt of black and brown people. And you see it today with the shootings of these unarmed men by police officers. You see it when people of color feel threatened and menaced and harassed. You see it in the way our system functions. We've had 152 people exonerated, that is proved innocent after being sentenced to death. And almost all of them are poor. They're disproportionately black and brown, and it's because we apply this presumption of dangerousness and guilt to black and brown people. And that's the challenge I think we face in this country. Unlike other societies, we've never made truth-telling about our mistakes a priority. We didn't have to.
Let's stop it right there. Say, would you get the light? Let's stop it right there. We can go on. Go ahead and close it.
If you go to Germany,
should shut it down.
Hit the space bar.
Hit the space bar. Can you use your own phone? All right, but I'm gonna allow that just because you jammed in up here. But listen here, this just gives you an example of what this guy, who is an amazing force. He's got a lot of great people working with him, but he himself is an amazing force, and I really respect the work that he's been able to do. So the case that he talked about with Walter McMillan is an interesting case. So I'm going to turn over to Seth for a minute and just let Seth talk a little bit about your thoughts on how this form could go, and if you have some questions that for us to be thinking about, that'd be great.
So, thank you. Again, my name is Cedric Frazier. one of the quick things I want to say, I'm glad Brother Shane mentioned it. He said, this isn't about you on Sunday. This is about this congregation. And we talked about the kind of theme of this is coming in proximity to these issues. Many of these folks, you've ever heard the phrase that Sunday is the most segregated hour in the country, in the United States. When I think about I think about you all coming to this church, this is a predominantly white church. Some of these folks are more conservative than most. They live in a community, their friends, their families look like them. Their backgrounds and experiences are just like them. When they hear things that racism exists, systemic racism exists, biases exist, that cops, single us out or disproportionately pull us over, or prosecutions charge us with things, they don't believe that. Right. They often go back to, well, there must have been something that they did. Right. There must have been something that happened that put them in the situation that they would be singled out. They must live in violent communities. They must be violent people. Right. They must like to sell drugs. They must come from single family household. Right. As if those things alone are causing the situation. They're not looking at the root causes of what those things are. And this goes back to what Brian Stevenson was saying when he's saying people want to feel good about themselves. They want to find ways to distance themselves or deny what is actually happening. They want to deny that they may be a part of that. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes they get defensive because they think that you're calling them racist. Mm-hmm. But we know that the system was designed for a certain group of people to be successful, for a certain group of people to be prosperous, for a certain group of people to succeed. And they benefit from that, because the system was designed for people that look like them. Mm-hmm. That's what we're saying. We're not calling you as an individual racist, but we're saying because it's a racist system that was designed for a certain group to be successful. If you look like or have a background like that, you're going to benefit. That's where white privilege comes from. Mm-hmm. That is a privilege that you get from being a part of that system that was designed for you to be successful. Right. So what we're trying to do is change the narrative to what these people believe. We're trying to introduce them to folks so they can hear those stories. What you shared last Sunday I thought was powerful when you got up there and you talked about the things that you worked on and then you had them Google you. Mm-hmm. I think that twisted a lot of them up, because just seeing your appearance and hearing you articulate and talk about the things that you've done and things that you're working on, that's kind of a cognitive dissonance for them. Mm-hmm. They couldn't really understand. Then to Google that and see his background, whoa, that's not what. You had a question?
Yeah, I had a statement too.
Yeah.
When I hear the talk like that, man, it makes me uncomfortable, because that perpetrates the racist thoughts. The stereotypes that you're talking about, nobody should get a pass from that. For hundreds of years, they have got a pass because of that. We're compassionate people. We love people. We always were. We're the originators. We're the first on this planet. We know you. Whatever you're doing, we see that we did it first. But here's the story. It makes me feel so uncomfortable because, God said love everybody the same. You know what I mean? Yeah. But they have these other points of views. Right. The lady that does brown eyes and blue eyes, she said, you want to be treated like black people, raise your hand. Thousands of people have put their hand under their lap and sat on their hand. She said that tells me that you know what's going on and that you don't want to be a part of it. So that makes me feel uncomfortable when I hear people talk about that. How am I going to approach this racism stuff when I can't talk to you people 100 with you? Just because Richard told you to Google him and it's articulate. Richard's not the only black man that's articulate in the universe. There's children that's articulate. There's people that's gifted. We're gifted people. Right. We're creators. We're originators.
That's good. And that's our point. That's our point, Donald. Where we're trying to go is to help others see exactly the point you just made.
If you can't see me, feel me. That's all I'm saying. It makes me just, it trembles.
No, I understand. I understand. And so without us getting into a dialogue.
I was just making a statement. I understand what you're saying, because like I said, I'm a compassionate brother and I got empathy for them, right? Yeah. You can't really be mad at the people that don't really know. A person that just don't know. That's true. How can you be mad at them? They're just ignorant. There's no law against being ignorant.
Exactly. And that is actually what we're coming against, is that spirit of ignorance.
Right.
And on that Sunday. And so everybody's hearing this again. We didn't come asking for this. This is the church, the people in the church saying, can you guys help us get further down the line. So this is the result of that. Hold on one second. So let the man finish what he got to say. I'll come to you.
No, hey, thank you for
No,
sharing.
I'm
that.
just saying, you know,
No. I mean, I really
the
appreciate
people that deal with
putting that
racism
out
thoughts and those kind of things, those kind of attitudes make it kind of hard to break through the wall because the wall's so thick.
Right.
You know
But
what
here's
I
an
mean?
opportunity,
So,
right? I mean,
mhm.
and this is what I've said to, I've spoken to their leadership, and I've talked about the criminal justice system. I used to be a criminal defense attorney, and so that's where Shane said that's why he saw me down here in the county, down there working. And so what I told him is this system, the criminal justice system, is designed for people that look like me. Not to go into that system and get a fair shake.
That's right.
Not to go into that system and come out on the other side feeling like there's justice been done. It's designed, I mean, most of those cases plead out. It's designed for that.
Right.
If I get locked up and I can't pay my bail and my attorney tells me, well, if you take this plea, you can go home tomorrow, I'm gonna go home.
Right.
I'm gonna take that case, I'm gonna eat
take
that
the nickel
case.
before I take the 20.
Right. And then when I get pulled over by the cops just for the reason that I live in that neighborhood, I'm gonna violate my probation, I'm going right back in.
Yep.
And I've created that cycle.
Yeah, right.
You know, and so those are the things that we're trying to point out to say this isn't something that happens because there are things in my life that I decide to do negatively, that I'm putting myself in a situation. I am being singled out, and it's a systemic thing that we have to understand. And the only way that they can be advocates and use their privilege or their influences to change that is if they see the individual. That they've been their pastor has been giving this message for months now, saying we have to see people. I mean, he used the Colin Kaepernick example and said, I cannot accept a white person burning Nike shoes because Nike is supporting Colin Kaepernick, but then you say that's righteous indignation, but then you say the black man is unpatriotic and doesn't respect the country when he is saying stop killing us. And he's just taking a knee to say that.
You know,
That's right.
That's right.
So that is what we're trying to get them to understand and get them to see. And my example was merely to say that they were seeing this brother. And when he told them to Google him, it created something different from what they were seeing and based on their biases from what they were told and what they see in the news every day.
And they shouldn't be shook about the White Castle. They got to.
So I'm getting off on a tangent. I'm going to say.
So what Brian Stevenson uses the term, you got to get close. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here is get close.
Right.
Go ahead.
So we're trying to get close. We're trying to get them to understand that it could be their neighbor. That could be, there's an organization called We're All Criminals. You were there when they talked. We're trying to get them to understand that everybody has something going on, right? And if we're truly seeing people, we care about everybody.
Right.
You know, and if we're truly people of God, which they all say they are when they come into that truth, right?
Yeah.
We have to see people.
That's good.
We have to be compassionate.
That's good.
We have to love that man, love that brother, love that sister for who they are, no matter what happens,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
And that's what we're trying to get to. For those, who's going to be on the panel? All right, so I'm facilitating.
3 and one's missing.
So you're on the panel too?
I'm going to kind of.
So Shane and I are going to be kind of facilitating the panel, right? The questions that I'm going to ask, so you got the summaries of the chapter to refresh you from the book.
Right.
Those questions that he gave, I'm going to be coming from those questions. There's going to be no surprises. And I'm not going to be specifically looking for you to talk about the book.
Right.
I'm going to use those questions to frame what I'm looking for you to talk about your experience. That's the way I'm going to do it.
Right.
And hoping that it draws. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if people are gonna ask questions.
Right.
You know how you said it makes you uncomfortable.
Right.
It makes them uncomfortable.
I know it does.
To have these conversations.
Right. I know it does.
And what I always say, you have to be uncomfortable.
Right.
You should be uncomfortable having these conversations.
That's right.
I'm uncomfortable every day when I go out because of what I look like. I have to carry myself in a certain way, so that things don't happen to me, so nobody perceives me as a threat.
That's right.
I mean, I gotta lower the bass in my voice. I gotta take my hat off. I gotta pull my hoodie down. I gotta straighten up my shirt, pull my pants up. I have to be a certain way, so it's okay. I'm okay if you're uncomfortable.
Right.
Because I'm uncomfortable just because of the skin that I have.
I got
Hold on. Give some time. So what I want to do, come on in, y'all. Hey, Tiffany. What I want to do, I'll come right to you, and I haven't forgot you. What we want to do, though, is kind of coach them out. So what I'd like for the members of the what I'd like for members of the group to do is, as you just seated in the church and this and that, you know, when there's a break, you know, step to somebody. You know, just meet somebody, you know, and have a conversation. You know, just show yourself friendly.
Yes.
You get it? What we try to do is just break down that nuance that, you know, there's some separation, that we're somehow different. All the blood is the same. Is that right? Say the blood.
The blood.
Yeah, but sometimes we don't, everybody don't remember that. So what we're just trying to help, you know, we're just trying to help them appreciate what they've asked us for was understanding. The Bible says this. He says, the Bible says, in all of thy getting, get understanding. Say understanding.
Understanding.
Say what I mean by that. It's not the Bible, it's understanding.
Right.
If you read it and then you understand, well then that makes the difference. There are those who read it and interpret. That's why we have 3,000 different religions. Everybody say they get it. Everybody say they get it. But what they don't have is
Understand.
the one God, the one blood. So this is what we're working toward here, is creating an atmosphere of understanding where we can draw close, they to them and them to us, you know, as one people. That's what we're looking for. So we got four members and myself in some ways. It's going to be like us, you know.
It's gonna be a conversation.
Yeah, and then we're gonna then y'all gonna be in the audience and just doing your fellowship stuff. Say fellowship.
Fellowship.
Now we got questions and comments for a minute, and yours was first, and then yours is second. Go ahead.
Well, you know, I think when you dealing with people that's trying to really understand, you have to understand and ask first and foremost is how many races is it? This country was built on racism, and it must be broke because God says it's only one race, the human race.
Right.
When you go to red, black, green, brown, and colors, you automatically in your racist. That's the automatic racist system. That's what all the racist groups use. Since neo-Nazis, skinheads, been incarcerated. We understand that they use those scenarios and are there for separation.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Therefore, the fear for them was that if they sit at the table with you, because this is what one told me in prison. I had sat down with a neo-Nazi and a skinhead, and I said, man, why you dislike me so much? He says, because simply if you sleep with my daughter, my kids would look like you and not me.
Wow.
So
it's too late now.
But, you know, this is what he used as a factor of why he had to separate himself and find a divider between us. And that's the reason he let Farrakhan and them and all the other groups, they are associations of theirs, because they promote separation, keep away from them, and that they was okay. That's why they killed King. That's why they killed.
Okay, we're going too far.
Okay, no, what I'm saying is these scenarios is you gotta explain to people that when you get shot, if you need blood, it doesn't matter what color it comes from. And I don't think if you need a liver or a heart, somebody's gonna be saying, oh, if it comes from a black, I'm not taking it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's the reason it's nothing but one race.
That's right. Let me stop you right there. Give him some time.
Now, for the first time, I'm 49 years old. What? For the first time in my life.
You know he's 50.
For the first time ever in my life, I've never had a person get within my vicinity of my presence to show their superiority over me. They sent a substitute, a replacement at our job from Anoka, from up north. This young man thought I was younger. He thought I was a youngin'. He came in to fulfill a position for our supervisor that didn't show up. He was Caucasian. When he got there, now how you say when you come into the courts and you privileged and I'm gonna come out on top, when that man walked into that establishment and seen a 6'3", 220-some plus man standing on the dock running things, he got intimidated by me and he was furious of me. So this gentleman started running around boasting, bragging, I'm 42 years old and I've been doing this forever and I'm this and I'm that and I know everything. So I said, you know everything, buddy? Go ahead and subject to this order on the computer. He got on the computer and he was lost. I said, young man, step to the side. I'll complete that. I pressed the buttons and complete the order and said, ma'am, put your metal on the scale. But you got a metal 1, 2, or 3, or copper 1, 2, or 3. And he stood there and he looked, and he said, oh wow, this brother is educated. But he's sure, I've never in my life, he ran around the whole day trying to prove to nobody, because it was nobody but me and him, that he was better than me.
Right. Sit down, give him a hand right there. He's 52. We should have told him. No, you know, we all got these, things. We all got these things, and but what I love about this the most is it's coming really authentically. My wife didn't raise her hand and say this is what we do. I didn't raise my hand, said didn't. It just has evolved around leadership, and leadership matters. The pastor, who I'm going to introduce all of you to, his name is Pastor Matthew St. John. When I first heard his name, I knew something about his mother and father. I said, and sure enough, his father was pastoral and was raised. Now he's really gifted in the word. He unpacks the word well, right? You can just know now. For me to sit under this. It's got to be rich, and it really is rich. Okay. So I want y'all to, come out. Those who can come out. I'd like you to come out and be supportive. Just find a seat. Don't look for us. Just find a seat somewhere, and then when the time comes, Isaac, I got you next. To dialogue. Find somebody in the audience and just meet them and introduce yourself to them and see doesn't that, move the agenda along. Go ahead, Isaac.
I was going to say that when you're dealing with people that are ignorant, you have to really take them to the place where they can really visualize what they would have done back in those times of slavery. I did a Black History Month in Lionel back in 2005. My white guys asked me, said, I want to be a part of this, I want to be a part of this. I said, no, you need to listen so you can learn about me. I've learned a lot about you since I've been in this continent. You need to learn about me and my continent. I said, if you really want to be a part of this, I'll tell you what you can do. You can go look up all the history of what happened to all the white people that supported the slaves in the Underground Railroad. What happened to those people when they got caught? When they started doing the research, when they started feeling it. I wouldn't do it. So you would have been a part of it. You wouldn't have did that, you'd have been a part of it. So that puts them in a position to really start thinking about the situation today. You got to make people think. You can't always just give them the information. Right. You got to make them feel it.
Well, that's a good point. I think you bring up a good point, and that's what we hope to do in some ways with this initiative. And thank you. So the questions are going to be those questions that we find in our guide. Let's just go to go to your Just Mercy chapter somewhere. Let's just pull out a piece so that we can do together, just so that we have some single-mindedness about. Do you have chapter 7, Justice Denied? I can't hear nobody.
No. That's the only one I really got.
Is the question? Okay, so I'm no longer with this?
Yeah.
Okay, let me read to you then. Justice Denied. Luke, are you getting anything?
I am getting a lot of things. Where are we at right now?
Watch this. In this chapter, we see both a setback and a break. The Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals denies McMillan's appeal despite Stevenson's argument that there was no credible corroboration of Myers' testimony and that under Alabama law, the state couldn't rely exclusively on the testimony of an accomplice. There was proprietorial misconduct. racially discriminatory jury selection and an improper change of venue and a change to Judge Robert E. Lee Key's override of the jury's life sentence. Stevenson and a newly hired addition to his legal organization, Michael Connor, continue to research McMillan's case as they prepare to appeal the Court of Criminal Appeals. Now that's the case that they talked about on the video of this guy, Walter McMillan. And this guy, Walter McMillan, not only was he convicted, even though his family was with him at the time of the crime, not only was he convicted, but he was placed on death row. Judge threw aside his life without possibility conviction and him implemented the death penalty. And ultimately, right, Mr. Stevenson and others were able to get Walter's freedom. It was a big case. You should look it up. You should research it. The interesting part of it, I want to share with everybody here. I'm taking into account all the comments that we have here, and I understand it all. They also had in the follow-up story to Walter's story, the case of this young European boy from down south in that same area. He had been raised in a racist family. Ultimately, he committed a homicide himself, and he was sentenced to death as well. And this young white guy says, I never found true love. I never found true forgiveness until the lifers on death row reached for me. Wow. These are brothers. These are brothers, yeah. And they forgave me for what I did. And the story goes, as this guy is walking the Green Mile, that he said, I walked with pride because I had found more love, more acceptance, more brotherhood, and more compassion with these men than I ever had from my own family. Wow. I just want to flip the script and show you, I mean, this thing is deep. And this is why did that happen? Because he got close. Say get close. Get close. What we're trying to do here, Donald, is just get close.
Oh, I understand it. I really do. I understand the proximity to it. I understand them just hearing it. I understand them feeling. I understand them seeing it.
Okay, so what we just trying to do is trying to get close and move the
It's just a baby step. I understand that.
Yeah, we're moving the agenda along. I understand that. So, go ahead. You got something?
Yeah, when I hear this stuff right here, Pops, when you talk about it, every brother man come talking about it.
Sure,
When I hear it, it made me go back to my silent cry. So, you gotta give it back to them.
Wow.
That's what they want to hear.
Wow.
So,
well, we should be set. You got any other thoughts or comments?
No, I think, we're going to start off with that video because, and this is why I say don't worry about the book. We're going to use a question to frame it because most of the people there probably haven't read the book.
Right.
So we're going to play that video so they have an idea of who Brian Stevenson is, what it's about. He's just going to be here.
Right.
Is it end of November?
November
something? Yeah. So don't worry about that. Just we'll get you a copy of the questions. You'll be familiar with those, and then we'll run this. That's going to be a conversation.
Yeah. Give him some love. And then I didn't share that well enough. This is setting up Brian Stevenson's actual visit at Christ Presbyterian Church, which is just down the street from our church, and they're in really the same position, and our church is co-sponsoring that. And so there's going to be a day where he's there doing workshops and providing some, Q&A and stuff. We're hoping that some of us will be able to attend that and, this and that. But I actually was trying to get some of the Lifer brothers, Ron Reed, Brian Clifton, and Trevor Brown, Lifers in Rush City right now, who are so shocked and have read the book. The Lifer group up there has the book as a study. I bought enough books for the Life of Study group here in Rush City and gave them out. And they really have broke this thing down. I mean, they really unpacked it, you know, and said, I like one time when you get a time on a Wednesday, I would love it if you could come up and visit some of the guys at Rush City. We got extremely gifted couple of men who are at that genius level, this bright guy, you know what I mean? And Jermaine Ferguson is there, and Tony, Tony is in Lionel now. He's on his way out. But in any case, this is how we're gonna play. We're just gonna ease on in and, you know, have a good time like we did on Saturday. I mean, we dominated the space, but it was love. You get it? And so we're just gonna have that same spirit about it. Now, transportation. We're gonna run the van from Pop 1 at say 4:30, the van is pulling out. If you don't have a ride, but you can make it to Pop 1, which is just walking distance from here, then the van will leave at 4:30 and it'll bring you back to Pop 1. Otherwise, Wayne has the address on your way out the door. Get the address. Luke, you're welcome to come. Are there any more questions about it? Go ahead.
I'm going. So if anybody need a ride, I can get you now too.
Let's meet you at the sidewalk.
Just let me know. Give me a number or something, you know what I'm saying? And the info, just in case anybody want to ride.
So we're gonna do that. Yvonne, you ride. Can you go or are you working? That's all right.
I can drive.
You can drive. You can go.
I can drive the van.
We can't take you yet, you know, but your time is coming. Franco, you on ISR or you going regular parole? I'm not. Wow, so you can come, man. And Wayne out here, we're gonna give you the address right here. Now, we're gonna change gears for 1 minute. Mr. Cortez. Mr. Cortez, you know you've been missing the group the last few weeks. What's
I've been working. I called.
Yeah.
I left a message with my.
Well, that was last week. But then what happened before that?
I've been working. That's what I called and told him.
Okay. Because then I'm thinking I called you on the telephone.
Okay.
And you didn't sound too good. You been holding on to your sobriety?
Yeah. When did you call me on the phone?
She keeps trying to tell me it wasn't you. But I called your phone and I'm just letting you know. I'm checking up on you.
Okay.
You mind if I check up on you?
No, I don't mind.
You know why I'm doing it? Because I'm drawing close to you. I just went, I want, man, look. Man, you've been holding on, you've been working, you've been doing a good job. I'm pulling for you. Everybody's pulling for you, man. Yeah, we don't want to see you go backwards. So yeah, if I call up on you, I'm checking up on you. I'm trying to make sure you holding on to this thing. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You looking good. You done got a haircut too, ain't you, boy? Get a boy a hand and got a haircut. That's good, man. That's good. Well, we're glad to have you back. And has anything changed at the house? Are you still there?
I'm still there.
Okay.
Cortez, I want to say a little something to you too. You've been missing around here. We really believe when you're missing too long around here, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
You get off track. You think you got away from the group, and we're not watching you, and you start doing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, Shane put it real nice, right? And I'm telling you straight out to it. You know, out of love, because I know I love you, man.
Right.
You got to show up in here on a regular basis to be a part of this. That's all I'm just gonna tell you.
I have seen him though.
That's good, Dennis.
I seen him at the Cub Food. Go shopping.
He's all right?
Yeah, I was like, hey, talk, guy. He was on point.
We want to see him in this room right here.
Yeah,
So now then also, you know, Nate and Tiffany, you know, this is our pop husband and wife too.
Right.
You know, they can't come to every meeting, but they come when they can. And Tiff hasn't been here in a while, so we glad to have you back. You know what I'm saying? And, so why don't you just check in and let us know what's going on? How's your daughter doing? What's happening?
Well, my daughter's doing real good. We went to conferences. She's back on the track with still getting good grades.
All right.
Today she
Yes,
texted her and asked her how school went. She said, Mom, good. I got an award. That's good. I don't work with BioLife anymore.
Yeah.
I work with Medtronics. Yep, so I'm liking that.
You remember
Liking the pay.
that George Jefferson song? Electronics is moving on up, baby.
All the time. It is. I really like the job.
Wow.
That guy died today.
Nate, what you got? What's going on with you, son?
The one who created
Man, who gave Nate that fade? Nate done got faded up.
Thank you, Papa.
Boy, you look good, boy. Give him some love, man. What's up?
Yeah, I'm living good, man. It's just blessed, taking care of the family, enjoying it, enjoying life.
Yeah, that's good. Y'all look
Staying
good.
connected.
That's right. I would like for you guys to come to the church on Sunday. Wayne got the address right here. Just come on out and grab a seat. 5 o'clock. It'll start, and we'll just kind of blend in with the rest of us, and then we'll holler. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah. And you can bring your daughter if you want.
She don't like hanging with us.
Okay.
She got friends.
She got friends now.
Go ahead.
What happened to the other pop queen?
She is at, he's talking about one of our lifeless sons.
One pop queen.
Michelle. She is
I apologize, pop queen. Only one pop queen.
She tonight is at, she's at a meeting of the Hennepin County attorneys discussion. I don't know if it's a debate or whatever else, but she's there, presenting the disparities information from the findings. So she's on point. That's a good question. She texted in to say, tell everybody. So I'm glad you brought it up. One other thing I want to say. I know Mike Fox and then my sister Rhea went out door knocking last Saturday. And they had their civic mindedness going. They knocked on some doors for Sister Rita Moran over in St. Paul. They knocked on doors for her. She's great. And if you don't have your voting rights back, but you know somebody who can vote, this is a critical election time. Remind your friends and family members to get out and vote. It's just coming up here just in another week and a half or 2 weeks. It will be critical. And if we're going to send a message back up the stream, we're going to have to send it in this middle election. So it's really important. Make sure that you remember to tell somebody to vote. And what have we missed? Is there anybody here with the issues pressing they need some help on tonight? Or can we go? Go ahead, Isaac.
First of all, I want to apologize for mishap, bad habit.
Thank you, sir.
I gave myself permission to go back to being dog bone. That's not acceptable.
Right. That's right.
I'm just keeping it 100.
Right.
And the love that y'all showed me, man, let me know that y'all care about me. And there's many people that care about me, but I would be doing you guys a disservice and going backwards. Come too far to get to where I'm at. Be having surgery on the 15th of November. Kind of get under my skin for a minute because I've never been in the hospital. And I have my fears,